don't. There we go. Now I got sound. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks 2026. The first project we're going to finish off this year is the Fire Horse. I think we got good sound, we got audio. Let's give it a check. We got some people in the chat. We got Jonathan Parsons, we got Avis Mendez, Brian Moore, Ray Shea. We got, who else we got here? I know I saw some other people earlier on. James Crafton, Adam 1978, welcome. Ray Shea, Todd Keith, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for checking out the Thursday night feed. Give me a sound check, let me know if everything's good. I think it is. Looks good on my levels. It doesn't look like it's, might be peaking a little bit. Let me tone that down just a hair. How's that? That should sound a little not as crispy. Not as pinned, I think. It might not make it through shattered. You feeling shattered, Paul? I've had those nights. Sounds good. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate that. Plug. You're ready to plug up an airbrush. Good. Sounds good there. Awesome. Too low? Too low now? All right. Let me go up a little bit more and see how that is. All right. I think we'll play with it there. Alright, if it's a problem, I can adjust it from there. Alright, Brian Moore's already in with the super chats. Bam. Thank you, sir. Much appreciate it. It's 1 a.m. here. Paul Green, where you at? Where you at? 1, so... UK? Good sound? Awesome. Good, good, good. Efren, how's it going, man? Hope you got your new toys. We got Honey in the house. Hello, Honey. Honey, you are still the high bid on this. No one else bid that night, so the bid still stands at $200 for this painting. Just so everyone knows. Thank you for coming in. Hope everyone's had a good start to the new year. I finally worked through most of my stuff and all my passwords and hacks and all the stuff I've been dealing with. I think we're back on track here. Still don't have access to my Microsoft account because they're a pain to deal with, but I just have to wait it out and work it from what I gather. So let me show you what I got mixed up here in the wide cam shot. Yo. Yes. Someone had messaged me in the last feed, after the last feed, or messaged what I use to switch, what kind of software. Just brief, I don't use a software switcher. I use a hardware switcher here. All my cameras come into this box, and this goes direct out to YouTube through the network. And goes. You could use something like OBS, which is a software, but this is a hardware driven with its own interface, so it's a lot less taxing on a computer. In fact, this computer could shut off, my other computer could shut off, as long as there's internet network, this will go live. I don't need any software. That's the benefit to this system. Gary Shees, what's happening? Kelly Ross, Kelly made it. Good, good, good. Alright, so tonight, because I always get asked, tonight we're doing all candies. So I'm not going to use transparent bases. So colors I have mixed, I have my black and white, which I had last time. I did mix up an opaque yellow because I'm going to integrate that into the fire. This is the Hansa opaque yellow, which is a little bit more golden. So if you want to convert this to House of Color, this is close to the golden yellow from House of Color, which is normally what we use for fire for solvents. And then I have an opaque red here. This is the opaque red. And then these are all candies. So this is tequila yellow. This is grabber orange, blood red, and this is a purple candy because we're going to do some purple highlight. So that's what we're going to work on here. This is our project. This is our painting. Joe Otherber, what's going on, Joe? Thanks for popping in. Hope your foot's doing all right. For those of you who don't know, Joe Otherver is an amazing mini painter and artist in his own right. We are going to be teaching at Adepticon coming up, and there's only a few spots left. So we got, I think, 3 or 4 in our regular class, and then there's that late night one which has like 9 spots. So, yay, horsey. All right, so this is where we mostly left off. I did do a little tweak. Let me get down here. So I was just messing with some hair. I was trying to get my white worked in tonight, so I just wanted to get a little bit worked on the hair. I didn't do much, just a couple minutes. If you go back from last week to this week's, the only thing I tweaked, which I didn't like, oops, and I just ripped this. I just adjusted the ear a little bit because I had the ear like over here. You can see that line. I missed this line. I had it messed up. So I just kind of adjusted things just to make sure tonight goes a little smoother. And yeah, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to brighten this stuff up. And I just messed up that cut. Let me fix that here. Yeah, if you want to see some of Joe's work, his mini painting is just absolutely ridiculous. No, do you keep a lot on Facebook? And he has awesome, Instagram. So feel free to post an Instagram title. I think it's just your name on Instagram, if I remember right off the top of my head. Alright, yeah, I got gloves on. I'm going to try to be a little neater in 2026 with my hands, especially working with candies. But I can't pull tape with a glove. So the only thing that's going to get dirty, down and dirty if you will, is my pointer finger, or trigger finger. There we go. So that's just a little tape together. Honey is amazing. Yeah. And I need a fire siren for honey. That's what I need. Oops. Yeah, let's put that there. Alright, put that together. Okay. So the key at this point, lazy with the social stuff, it's alright. I'll help you out. But just check out Joe's work. It's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning work. Alright, so the key at this point, this is kind of the midpoint. So that's why I stopped last weekend. I was getting later. So right now, I'm at that midpoint, and I want to brighten up some things before I start candying them. So I'm going to brighten up the hair, which is ultimately going to be a lot more silhouetted, but I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring up the fire contrast, bring up the brights here. And then we're going to start layering in some candies. So I'm going to start going up, some reds, oranges, yellows, and we'll tone that. And then I'll probably come back in and tone some brights back up. And then go into for the final kind of kill shots and little purple glows and things like that. That's the plan anyway, if I don't mess it up. That is the plan. So we shall see. Alright, so I got my white mixed up. I'm using my Eclipse. So here's the thing. I have it mixed two ways. This is my Eclipse mixed thicker at higher pressure. Okay. Or I have my white with the Micron, which is a different mix. So it's a hard balance at this point because it's kind of a preference. If I go really thick, it gets a little soft because the paint's too thick for the small nozzle. So it's kind of that balance. So what I'm going to do first, ultimately what I usually do is I do higher pressure, thicker paint on the bigger nozzle, like the Eclipse, so I can get more punch opaque. And then what I'll do is I'll thin the paint more in a Micron type brush and drop the pressure a little bit for little details, because if you don't, it'll blow out. So it's always finding that balance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brighten up some of these areas. Like I want this light, and I can actually go a little white here. The eye is going to be really bright coming out. This eye is going to be bright. And we'll give it like a glow coming out. See that? I'm going to hit these now, which means it's going to get a little brighter. I'm not worried about blocking out any of my my black work. That was just mid. I kind of want it. I want to desaturate it. I want to kind of push it back so it's not as crisp. So I'm going to get that nice bright cheek. Okay. This is key. Whenever you're doing skulls, man, if you want to sell it, if you sell the cheekbone and the nostrils, like the nose, the septum and stuff, you sell the dimension right there. See, you start to bring that contrast up. You bring that brightness. We'll get the kind of forehead temple area. And I'm just going to get kind of rough in here and soften. See how I'm just bringing that up here? Remember, the things that are brighter the more forward it is, the more in the foreground. Darker goes back. Okay, so obviously I don't want under here brighter than this because this is 2 steps down. So I got to brighten up in here. Okay, that's the key, is understanding where that stuff is. And if you get that right, you could have misproportions or other things wrong. People don't notice it as much. See how I'm brightening up that too? See how much that just came out? Brighten up that tooth. Hope everyone's having a good week. Hope everyone survived the Verizon blackout of 2026. Like, my wife's at a big conference and I wreaked a little havoc on that because of all the meetings and appointments and stuff, but I'm going to brighten that nose up. See, just by bringing that up. And now we're going to get some hair. Long dagger strokes here. Now, if I was doing realism, I would be much more careful about like where each hair is. But a lot of these will be kicked out later. And I'm really just trying not to lose this neckline here, okay? I want the light really heavy on this neck. And then the hair I want to come out. We'll do some little right off here. And once you get that white flowing, this is when you go. Dagger strokes. And brighten up that ear. So a lot of these are going to probably go black. You get more silhouetted, which is fine. And knowing that, knowing they're going to come in and carve stuff darker, it's okay if I over accentuate and make this bright. Ray Shade, thank you. Yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Now what's happening here, and this is what happens to a lot of people, see how that's skipping? What that means is my either paint reduction's a little off for the speed I'm going, or pressure. It's just a hiccup. Most of them are going to be gone. It's not going to be a problem. Once I wrap it up. But if you notice that, kind of slow down. It'll get rid of the skip. And right here, we're going to have, that's the neck. Here's kind of the like clavicle of the horse muscle right there. I actually got another horse project I'm working on right now. It's going to be on a hood mural, which is going to be a really cool piece. Like 3 horses with like an ethereal smoke coming out of the smoke, and an actual Mustang car coming out of it. It's going to be under the hood mural. Char! What's going on? Char, are you coming to Adepticon too? Are you gracing us with your presence this year? I hope so. Put a little texture there, a little extra texture here. Like I said, I'm just going in. I'm going to brighten up all my areas that I want bright. I I don't want a lot in here. Like, this looks a little cartoony right now, and it's fine. You know, it's better to bring it up, make it bright, and carve it in after. Then, because here's the problem, and I get a lot of questions about using candies or transparents. Either one works the same. Candies do it less because candies will take on whatever value you have set. So if your scale of 1 to 10 brightness is a 10 bright to a 1 dark, with candy, it's going to be like, once you saturate it enough, you'll be at the brightest red to the darkest red, okay? With a semi-transparent, eventually you will start taking some of that color over from the black. It will change the color and intensity a little bit. So that's where, when you do candies, you can afford to be a little brighter with a candy. Where is, okay. Again, I haven't used any stencils in the fire yet, and I'm not going to use many, because what I'm going to be doing now is where it's going to be bright. You know, and if I am going to use, let's bring out a couple good fire templates here. A little bit of Mike LaValle, a little bit of Curve. Bring up some classic shapes. Maybe we'll bring up the Matchmaker here. And this is where, if you want, you can add a couple like hard edge things to the fire as we go through. But don't go too crazy. Yeah, keep it still loose. You know, because we are going to get it brighter. See how I'm kind of missed? Because I use 2 different stencils here, so it's kind of off. So let's fix that so it looks better. It's a lot going on right there. Let me see if I do have last week's pieces. Put them line up a little better. It's always a problem when you cut too many. That goes here like this. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. So now this is where like all this stuff, I don't like the way it looks, but I'm going to have to cut that in with some black anyway. Because I really want back here to be brighter. So just don't get too stencil happy at this point, okay? That's kind of the key. Just kind of loose. Keep it loose. You tighten it up a little bit. Just kind of see what you can get. Yeah, I ran out of white. That's good timing. I mixed up this opaque yellow. I'm going to play around with this a little bit before I start going with candies and see if I like it. This is kind of the problem where most beginners, even me, I second guess myself, even right now, sometimes live. Do I like the way it looks? Oh, it's too bright. Oh, it's too this. I don't like it. Oh, what's happening? And you will do this to yourself quite a bit at this stage, okay? fires, realistic fires, one of those projects that almost has to look worse before it looks better. So you almost start to hate it at a certain point, like I do right now. I don't hate it, but I'm just not thrilled. But you gotta be willing to kind of play with the fire a lot. You know what I mean? You gotta get in there, play around with it, and just set up for the end. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit some areas that are brighter. Around this nose, around this eye. Here we go. This eye, make that nice and bright. And this bright, this. Okay, see, I'm just kind of establishing that. Everyone gets stencil happy, man. That's the problem with fire. You'll notice how little I use right now. And I'm not afraid to kind of go over things. And this is opaque. This is an opaque yellow. Okay, so I don't have too much of a problem just saying, just making it super bright. And see what we can do with it. Because remember, we're going to start laying a lot of orange candies in here, so this stuff can really kind of get some bright glow coming out. But see, like all this stuff here, which I'm not really digging, it's fine because I can cut in with black either after or even now. But I'm just going to kind of do it after, because it's fine. I want it really bright down here. So you just kind of framing everything. Getting it into a place I want. But notice I'm still keeping it pretty loose in here. I'm still, this is an opaque red I'm coming in with. Because I want to keep this back, before I candy it, I want to get some more red out here. So the candies, because if I put orange or red candy over this, you're not even going to do much out here. It's going to get kind of brown. Orange candy, when it hits the black, doesn't look right, so you've got to have a color for it to set up to. And see what I mean? Just by doing that, see how that brought the glow back? And this is still not candy yet. This is... I don't use candy over these colors to create, really. I use candies to tint and glaze and kind of intensify. I'm not trying to build anything with the candies. The candies work with what you've established. So the key is getting things established. Like even here, I can bring in some red in here. I can bring in just a little red into the body, like this little glow on the skin of red. Now what you're going to see is when I get the orange on here, it's going to blend into this pink. And here's like the back. And the redder I get this, when I go to the red candy, I don't need as much to get there. So that's something to think about too. And I'm going to use this red to come back in later and like put like, you know, red accents and kind of like rim lighting and side lighting. I want to carve in some extra hair. Yeah, look, I'm not a seller of airbrushes, but I'm going to say you definitely need more than one. 2 will get you by. What I tell people, if you're going to get some brushes, and let's say you're going to get 3, okay? Get yourself an Eclipse with a 3.5. Get yourself, you know, that can get 2 Eclipses if you want. One that, you know, both 3.5s, one you could use for transparents, one for heavies. And then you can get like an HP Plus or something on that line. So you don't have to go to a Micron. But you have one super detail, and then the other 2 can run bigger volume paint. And that sweet spot will get you like, I usually find 3. I kind of like that number, if not more. Okay, yeah, I don't need that. Okay, so everything's bright. I'm going to bring up these, almost like characterize how bright this is going to be, like on the body and the neck. Because the brighter that is, the more I have to darken it. And I can like do a hard light, rim light around, like almost like a cartoon glow around him. See what I did there? Now, oops, I had it flowing, then it stopped. That happens. Kelly Ross. Is Steve Leahy here too? Mr. Leahy is here. Hi, Steve. There we go. So I can, like, if I want to stylize it more, I can kind of rim light this with like a bright edge. You know what I mean? If I want, kind of like have some fire pop out. But I can really do that in the second pass. This is more the bright stage. We're just kind of showing you. You can experiment here because you're going to cover most of this up. But see how like that gives it more pop, and we're going to use that like here on this edge here on this guy. You know, the fire comes out more. We're just setting up the tones. This one I'm really trying to work. If you ever watched Mike work back in the day, how loose Mike would work right here was just the funnest part of what he did. And trying to kind of emulate that a little bit more, less structure, more just creation, okay? And popping the contrast up. All right, let's see what we got here. What do we got here? And, you know, coming back to like the amount of airbrushes I use, you know, being live, honestly, is a big reason for a lot of it, because I want to be able to just, you don't want to be watching me clean colors. Like, I have this black one here, so now I can go in, if I wanted to carve this before I candy it, but I can carve it after. You know, I can hit these shapes. And it depends on your style. Some people like to get all their details mixed in before they candy, and you can do that. I like playing with a lot of it afterwards. But if you can see, like, when I want that hair to silhouette, this is going to make the hair. So that's why I wasn't too worried about it being too white. See, I can pop that as long as I get my color glow first. So that's what this black is going to be. Hey Kelly, how far from Ohio is Milwaukee from you? Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah, I'm hoping we do. I haven't gotten the finalized dates or things, or if I'm doing it on the Rendezvous, which is going to come up again at Coast. So I'm hoping I'm going to be in this one. I don't know. I know they're a little bit more limited on space, so we might have to do it at a different time. We'll see. I'll keep you posted when I know. Okay. All right, so candy. How do I mix my candy? I don't have a chart. But what I do, it is, I don't have it in reach. So I do equal parts for airbrushing. This is not for spraying out of a large gun. For airbrushing, a good intensity and coverage wise, I like 1:1. So there you go, Kelly. You should come hang out at Adepticon, man. So I do 1:1, candy to 40-50, and I don't need any reducer at that point. Okay, because this is so thin, it acts as the reducer for the 40-50 flow. You can reduce it. I don't really ever need to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work lighter to dark this time. I'm going to start with my yellow, because nothing's going to be white on this at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start kissing yellow over this, and you'll see it starts to tint. Light passes. I'm not flooding it. This stuff is really intense, especially at 1:1. And remember, what's my rule? What's my rule of airbrushing? I say it all the time. Not the loose to tight, not on that. What's my other rule? Oh, Joe, you working on your, you doing the Resin Beast comp, right? I'm going to do slow pass, and watch this fire. Watch this get more intense. Even the red and orange gets more intense. See that? See how that just, see what just happened here? Same thing here. The candy intensifies all the orangey reds. And it gets rid of that white. And I'm not flooding it. I'm doing a nice medium wet pass. Oh, you are doing a golden demon piece. Ew, I did not know that. I am not doing a piece for any competition. To quote Kerry's mom, they're all going to laugh at you. That's why I'm not doing one. Okay, so see how that's nice and tense. But look, if I wanted to go even more with this yellow, I can do a wetter pass. And see how much brighter that gets? Just, that's what I love. This is the tequila yellow. And it's just a great color for fire because it's that golden. Honey, would like to go see the new coast this year. Oh, okay, yeah, a lot of studying. Brian, so no, not back to front. When it comes to fire, and that's how you don't wipe. Sorry. Light coats. You can always add more. Okay, but if you go too far, you can't take it away. Especially with candies. Because candy's going to react to whatever's underneath. So that color, I'll never get lighter than that again, unless I go back to white. See how this is light? And this is bright? This is not the same candy. This was less passes than this. So now I can come into here. You see how much I just darkened that and left that bright? So you can work in light layers. But if you're gonna go back 5 minutes, I'm not saying what I'm thinking. Not saying it, Steve. But now, this is what the benefit to candy. Notice none of my black changed tone. Only the lighter colors changed tone. So the brighter the white, the brighter the orange, the yellow. The darker stayed dark. Okay. And then let that sit for a bit. And this will be the most important friend when you're doing candies. And Brian, you're going to know, because I think you had a problem with this when you started. If you keep doing this, especially those medium light coats, there's a lot of overspray. So if you do another light coat and a wet coat, you start getting like sandpaper gravel on everything. That's what it starts to feel like. So it's very important to use a tack rag every so often. Because lighter coats won't get a lot of overspray mist. You can hear it a little bit, but not bad because I kept it. I'm not like fogging. Okay, so now the key, and watch. So this is a fairly clean rag. I'm going to pull a lot, especially up here. So you're pulling all that overspray off. Hear the difference? Nothing? Hear it? Because there's not much candy here. So that's why you got to get that off. But just that, and I could go to orange candy and kind of be done, but we're going to do a lot more. The other trick that'll get some more off, and you got to test this first, and I've tested it a bunch of times, is wax and grease remover, a solvent-based wax and grease remover. Do not use a water-based wax and grease remover at this stage. Do not use spray away glass cleaner. You'll rip your artwork off. And what I found works really good, if I could find it, but I don't have it, is a microfiber. A good microfiber, oh, here we go. I found good microfiber does a nice job with the wax and grease remover. And you actually can see your artwork. See how much came off? Now it's much smoother. So this is House of Color KC10. This is my favorite wax and grease remover. Because you know the problem, you use paper towels here, and a bunch of you are going to say, yes, that's happened to me. You start getting paper towel lint everywhere. And it sticks to the texture of the candy. It does a little bit more, it does it with solvent too, but it does it more with water-based, because I think the water-based is a little heavier. But I found a microfiber and KC10 wax and grease remover. Does a really nice job. And it also shows the vibrancy of what it's going to look like cleared. And it doesn't re-soften or take anything off. Okay? So everyone tells you, oh, you can't wipe down water base, you can't do this. Yes, you can. You just got to use the right stuff. Rick Lever's got a bid of $275. Nice. Thank you, Rick. Is it lever? I meant lever. Lever? Is it? Blank once for lever, twice for lever. $275 is the bid. And we got to give you a bam, bam. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah. It's kind of like buffing between layers. Yeah, but now all that loose overspray is gone. Okay. And the piece is looking cool. And that was just in the yellow. Okay, so that was the yellow. Now I'm going to do, and this gets more intense, you got to be careful here. Honey, 3 hundo. Lever to beaver. That's awesome. Thank you for that. That's great. Let's see. Should we do... I haven't done a multi-view. Oh, and I don't have my reference image up at all. There's a reference image. That was the reference image we worked on. That I'm working from. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with orange. Now orange is even more intense. Okay, so you need less of it. Okay, so I want more orange in here. And like I said, it's going to get really intense, so I don't want to get it out here. See what I mean? The orange is there. And this is where I start tightening things up. I want the orange more in here, like here. I want to stay a little brighter out here. So just like when I work fire, I'm going to put the next darker color more in the darker areas and let it just kind of cross over to the lighter areas. See how I'm doing that? See where I'm putting the orange, putting it here and bringing it over to, blending it over to the brighter. You know, in mini painting, like Joe and I do, when you do wet blending, you can same thing. You want to start from the dark area and blend it to the lighter. If you go the other way, it's not going to work. So start from the dark here. Watch. So I'm going to start here, bring it up, and I'm going to start here and bring it down. So now I can go from here, and I can make that glow. See how that transition nice? And I keep the darker orange in the darker areas because it's the darker color. Same thing here. Okay, because the candy's not going to do anything over this. I want orange in here. I want this all orange. But I don't want to get anything in here really. Because remember, if I need to get brighter again, I'm going to have to brighten it up with white. So I'm just kind of playing around, being a little bit more careful where I put it, not losing the intensity. I want some here. I want a lot more in this eye. These back teeth will be a little darker, leaving these. And I can still go over orange, just less. This is the fun about working with candies. You can watch it kind of come to life. The bottom jaw could be a little bit more pushed down. You can come into here, a little bit underneath, maintaining that yellow in the top, but the coarse shadow is going to go down. Yeah, it depends on the wet blend, subject matter. Yep, exactly. You know, but you know, you don't want to start with a dark on the brighter side. You kind of start from and work in, depending on the effect you want, like this. So see, I'm going to go here, I went here, but I left here. So this maintains that golden yellow up in here. But I went on top of that, which is under the eye, and this is the lower part of the jaw, and that's rolled to the knee, so it can be darker under here. Because remember, every step here is going to get darker. Like this hair can all be darker. I don't want it yellow. I want this all orangey red. So I'm going to do anything down here. Remember, a lot of this is going to be silhouetted, so I'm going to push it back so I can afford to be a little bit brighter. Inside the ears can be dark. Kind of like it, but see here, it's got a little bright. Oh yeah, you can totally do details with candy. So if I want to come in here and start adding little details, see that? I can. And I will do more of that towards the end. They're just not needed right now, but I can go in and, yeah, let me come in, see if I can zoom in on that a little bit more. Like if I wanted to, I can come in. I'm going to come in at the end. Right now it's just tinting. I was talking to a client today because they're working on a job. And what I was trying to explain, because we're in the design stages, you want to be working on the macro right now, not the micro. The micro details come towards the end. So unless you need to put it in now, you don't have to. If the details needed to be under the candy fully, I would have probably put them in already, but I don't really need to, because I can always kind of add them back in. Right now this is more tinting and glazing and working the tone of the piece, not the detail. So you set in that mode. Okay, a little orange here. I got to be careful here, because if I go past my yellow, if I lose my yellow, I have to go back to white to get it. So see this yellow here? I want to maintain that. If I orange over this, then I got to go back to white, then back to yellow, then back to orange again. I don't lose it. You have to go back and forth more. So the key is not to overdo it, because you can always add more, right? And if I want this yellower, I can always add more later, because the yellow is not going to affect the orange really, or the red. Like I always go back. I do need to thin candy. I blow out a lot. Do I need to thin candy? No. So if I already said earlier, I didn't thin the candy at all. I did 1:1, 40-50, and then an equal part of candy, mix it together. I didn't have to reduce it to run through the Eclipse. If I went through the Micron, I might have to put 5 or 10% reduction. Or you gotta play with the air pressure. Because of my background in like t-shirt work and stuff, I'm used to working at a higher pressure and moving fast enough to compensate. So you gotta play with the air pressure a little bit based on your speed. Like if I want to come in and add some more hairs, see, I can do the hairs here. And I'm probably gonna add some later like that. But they're not necessary now. Okay, so I'm kind of digging it. I know you might be seeing purple here. There's no purple here, it's just the reflection of the black and the lighting. That's all that is. Okay, let that dry, because again, what do we have to do now? Yeah, my PSIs, I'm at 40 right now. If I was going my clips, I'd probably go down a little bit. That's what's nice when you have a Mac valve. You can kind of drop down if you need to. 35 is a good pressure, but it can be high for thinner paint if you're really close and slow. So yeah. Okay. So next thing. What's next? Yeah, for sure, Joe. Yeah, every art form, be it illustration, minis, scale model building, fine art, photorealism, canvas, they all have a lot of similarities to how things work, but there's also unique tweaks that have to go, and the order of operations might change a little bit. But I think the premise on everything always stays the same. It's the biggest things to get early on is get your volumes set up, your values and your values and your volumes, like light to dark, and kind of block out your values of color and tone. And you work those bigger areas, and then you start going all to the little details and things like that. And then you have glazing and the candy overlays. But I think the fundamentals of getting your foundations in values is the most important. White layer on the flames is coming, but I'm probably not going to use white. I'm going to use yellow, because I don't need to go back to bright white yet. I don't want to. But I got to do something else first before I do that, and it's most important. Who's going to get it? Who's gonna get it? We just talked about it. I'm waiting. Nope. Can't paint yet. Hey, Mike. Okay. No one's going to chime in? I'm going to give it 10 seconds. 10. Clean the panel. Yes. Tack the panel and clean it. Because what do we have? We have overspray. Okay? Oh, did I miss a bid? I'm sorry. Thank you, honey. Rick. Leave it to Beaver. Is $3.25. And with this cleared, man, this is gonna just pop. It's 11 by 17 in case you want to frame it. But yeah, so Brian, exactly. This is what you got to do. Tack again. See that orange? You want to get that off. You don't have to like do the wax grease remover after every stage. I like it because I get to see the color pop. How that's going to look cleared. Okay? Now you can see what that looks clear, and you can see me waving. Hi. Alright, so that's one of the benefits, is you can kind of see your work. What's going to look like cleared. And again, you know, I've always used paper towels here, and I'm getting lint trap, and I hate it. Microfiber, man. Cleans nice. Doesn't leave any linty fuzzies. And is soft on the artwork, whereas paper towels can sometimes scratch. See? Again, smooth. And when you go to clear, it's going to be a lot nicer. Okay? Alright. You know what? Before I do that, and I could have done this before I tacked it, I'm going to hit my reds. Oh, my red candy gelled up a little bit, so I am going to strain it through. I ran out of fresh batches of candy. I had a really old bottle of Candy 2.0 from probably 10 years ago that I used. So I think it gelled up a little bit in the 40-50, which can happen, which is the benefit to straining. No problem. You just happen to notice it. There we go. Now we got the red. Now the red is going to go to the furthest out, and now you're going to notice how much pop that does. But it's really strong. I'm only putting it like in here. Let me go back up to my 1:1 so you can see it full size. Like watching here, I'm going to hit the red. And it makes that much richer. I'm going to hit the red here. It'll give something for that color to pop off of. Out here is more red. Yeah, Rick, you gotta just remember, I don't know how customs is gonna be on it. And we can kind of work on that if you end up being the high bidder and see what's what. This one is a little thicker. I am going to reduce like 5-10% in this. But see how I'm starting now? I'm getting closer to my reference material. Red, red, I'm getting red under here. Red under there. In the darker areas, I can do some more red. Then I can cut back in with this red for detail, like Brian, what you were saying. Can you do detail? Yeah. So once I get to the darker colors, where I can start doing details like this. See what I mean? Once I get there, so we'll start going darker at that point. And probably a little homage to Mike when I'm at the end. I don't have it on, I didn't have it mixed, but I'll probably do it before I clear. I'll put a little purple pearl on this outer edge, just to flash, because Mike always liked that. Here at 451. That's a Canadian rate. Yeah, let's not do Canadian conversions, please. All right, so now I can go back to the yellow. And I can make this brighter. You could use white here as well. But see how I just kind of brought that out? That glow in the eyes. I'll darken that up a little bit here. Let's see, do I have the... Yeah, this was the original. Just a little under there. Chris and Tennis Adventure 7857. Hello! Get that eye popping. There is a little bit of melting going on from the candies. You could put a bleed check. I actually use that blending quite a bit. And if you don't over reduce, you don't get too much of it. Okay, that actually got a little brighter. Where am I? There are my pocket graphics. There we go. I need the pyro. Pocket pyro for pocket graphics. This is a good stage for this because this is where you can start finding curves. Yeah, I felt a little kick. Yeah, see how that little bit just popped the eyes? But it's because it's set up for it. Remember, it's all about setting, when you do fire, each layer sets up the next one. I'm sorry, I'm talking, oh, SD card full. God damn it. Ignore that, please. That's not supposed to be there. I don't even have an SD card. Yeah. Sorry. I'm talking about the stench on my mouth. Yeah, so every layer sets up for the next one. So remember, everything works inside. Okay? So right now, I'm going to pop the fire here. Okay, that gets worked in there. I'll drop pressure just a hair. But I'm going to make sure I stay within those areas. I'm not going to put yellow here in the black at this point. I can't. If I want to put yellow there, I got to get some orange on the side of it, or I'm going to lose that glow. Same thing. Hit here. Really get that fire. And where I really want to get some is this ear. I want to get this side to pop. Oh, where's the other one? The original one from last week. It's much better. Drop it. Excuse me. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I want to get this side brighter. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this paper back. Really just pop this. See, all these little highlights now can work inside. So see right here, I can brighten this center bone up. And if it gets too bright, it's fine. We can tone it back down with the candy. Or we can carve some details in it. Oh, I'm missing. That's why. That froze my, hold on, my, damn it. Sorry about that. My chat window on my, what's it called? Dumped out. My teleprompter. So, my last comment I saw was from Michael Stan. I didn't see the other ones. Dumb question. But do people try to pull fine lines with candy? I've tried. Use it for fine lines. It works beautiful for candy. I use fine lines for candies all the time. If your candy's mixed up, it should pull beautiful fine lines. Easier than opaques. You know, like right now, this one has the candy red in it. I should be able to go in no problem and pull lines. It's actually my preferred for fine line detail because there's no pigment. It's just dye and ink. There's nothing to bind up your airbrush. So it's actually the best to start practicing your fine line detail with. More so, like white's the worst to practice. But once your candy's mixed, like this candy is 1-to-1. In this red, I did put like 5% reducer in it just because it was gelled up. But see, I can keep going, and then I can go back in again, and I can go darker and richer. And that's the nice thing about candies, I can keep working it. All right, let's. Gary Shees, thank you, sir. Appreciated. Okay, so now what I can do, if I want to, what time we got here? It's 9 o'clock. So I want to start wrapping, getting toward this wrap up. So a lot of cases, I would bright up all this yellow And then candy, another layer, and then go in white, and then do it again. But I got this stage. I'm gonna just pop in some whites here, so you can see how bright that pops. That's why I'm doing it now. And I haven't used bleed check. And notice it's not turning. The nice thing about the 4021 is, versus the old 4020, which we used where it was hotter, it doesn't reactivate the candies as quick. So you can really kind of play around with some brighter areas without bleed check. And this is that white mix. But see how stark bright that is? Whereas the yellow is a little bit more forgiving. So that's why if you go to white, you got to be damn sure. Like, this is overkill right now. So that's why working in the yellow is better, and just be very, very, use the white very sparingly. See, I just put it on that edge to brighten that up. See what I mean? Just a little bit. Not too much. Not too much. We're going to be able to tone it back, so it does look like too much. I never forget, I've told this story probably a million times, so if you've heard it, I'm sorry. Not everyone has. Where's the right one? There we go. I was doing one of the first... Is it possible with just... Yeah. No, you can. You can use pearls. You can mix in some metallics here and there, but the problem is you don't have control over the gradient of metallic and where they flicker. So you can integrate metallics in and then candy over, but you really got to be careful with it. I'll do it over metallic backgrounds, and maybe I'll let the metallic show through here and here. But I wouldn't use like a metallic white. You could use a pearl white here. So look, now that I have that yellow here, watch how bright this white's going to hit. It's super hit. Man, I was doing this guy's car, and he was liking it, and then he came back in and he saw this stage. He's like, what the hell? That looks like shit. Because it looks so dynamic, not knowing it's going to get toned back down. And this was like the early stages of doing fire, so he wasn't really too confident in me yet. So I just had to assure him that just let me do my job and get to the end, and it'll be right. Oh, and as I'm thinking of all my friends here, I just want to give a big shout out, whoops, to all my Down Dirty tricksters who've been here for so long. The green skulls are over 2 years. Yellow is over a year. Red is 6 months, I believe. I think Wade and Brandon Workman might be red. I didn't get a chance to get that done. Then we have some new members in the past week. Brad Mass, Marco, Mike, I'm not going to pronounce it. Mike Wazowski, Shigadowski, Scott Rebels, and Levi Sarts. Levi's Arts. So thank you everyone for popping in. Don't forget you get your 24% off on everything in the store. So go check out McKay Fine Art and airbrushdowndirtytricks.com. Okay, so remember, I'm going to candy over it, so this bright is going to be a brighter yellow once it's done. We can even do some smoke coming out. We'll do that towards the end. I wish I didn't do that now. Do that later, but we'll make that work. Okay. Alright, so. Candy. Alright, so I still got the red in here. I don't want, if I do the red, it gets pretty pink, okay? That's why I don't really ever do red much at this point. But I'm going to save that, it's a nice mix. Jonathan, what's happening? Wish I was 18 again. Don't we all, man? Don't we all? Actually, I wish I was 21 again. That was where it gets fun. 18 was like, oh, I can legally buy cigarettes now and vote. and join the military if I so choose. That's about the benefit at that stage. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to the same order. I'm going back to my yellow. Yellow candy. So now watch that go from bright white to super bright yellow. Same thing here. Same thing here. Okay, so see how that looks a lot nicer? Now watch these eyes just kind of go away. Because right now they're like, oh my god, that's white. And that just toned back out. Okay. I'm just going to leave what's in there. I'm going to add orange to it. And now I'm going to maybe start carving a little fire belly here. And then before I start doing details, I'm going to candy it. I'm going to wipe it down again. I want more orange on this side. Then I want to start carving the black. Then I'm going to bring in some bright purples for like just a rim light to cap this off. And then you could do a million more hours of like fire and other stuff if you choose, and add more. At this stage, I start talking to, this is where customer's budget's in. Okay, customer had a cheap budget, a mild budget. We're wrapping this up in the next 20 minutes. Customer had a really good budget. We're going to spend another 5 to 6 hours adding more details and adding more layers of fire and adding more little nuances. Okay, that's the business side, where the business side comes in. Okay, so right now, I think we're still at a bid of 325. I haven't bought candies yet. Yeah, candies, if you missed it, the way I mix them for airbrushing is 1-to-1, 40-50 to candy, and I don't really need any reduction at that point. I can add it if I need it. Alright, what I've done, I've mixed up my black, okay, which is how I've been mixing it here, which is a 70-30 mix of illustration black. I like the illustration black because it's not, I find that Wicked Opaque is too strong. I like it for t-shirts and stuff and base coats. I don't like it for detailing artwork. I think it's too stark. Okay, so I took this, and then I added another. This is 4004 transparent base. You could just use 40-50 as well, more of it. I added some more to make it more transparent and reduce it a little bit. So you see, I get this nice kind of subtle flow. I can go 1 pass light, 2 pass darker, 3 pass, 4 pass to get to almost 100%. I like to do things like 4 times if I want 100%. It's kind of how I mix my paint. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4 if I want to go slow, or I can slow it down and I can get it bold in 2. But by having it this way, I can go, look, I can go wide, tighter, tight, tight, and I can have a nice transition. Okay, so that's the benefit. Now this is where I start pulling out. And what you could do here, and actually I think I will, you can add a little bit of red into that transparent, the red candy, for detail, so it's not as strong. Joe, have a good night, man. Keep that foot ice. I assume you're going to be out of the machine for a couple days. Okay, so see what I did? Now that red warmed it up a little bit so it's not as black. So now this is where, look, I can start carving in some extra details. I can come in here and I can bring in the hair. It might be too weak to do the hair out there, so we're going to stay in here, and then we'll go stronger for the outer hairs. But see, now I can start toning that. Took a week off, it's winter, so, oh, good. Yeah, man, I'll check in on you tomorrow. Have a good night. Char, take care of the old man. They need him rested. Now I can come in and I can start really carving that hair, changing its direction and making it more in silhouette. But because the black is not solid, I have some time to really play. Kelly Ross. Thank you, sir. Let's see, does this show it a little better? Let's see. Camera 2. Yeah, maybe. So see this hair right here? I want to get this darker. See, I brought that out. I'm going to bring this one and curl it. I'm going to have some loose hairs. Look how nice big one coming down here like this. Okay, so now I start to silhouette these hairs. Really punch that dark. Bring this eye socket darker. We'll bring under here the hair. Good. Have a good night, Joe. So this is where, Brian, you start carving all your details. Because now I'm happy. And if I find it's a little lacking somewhere, I can always cut back in, brighten area up, and work it till I'm happy. But at this stage, I've achieved my design, and now it's about refinement. Sometimes at jobs like this, and Rod Fuchs is known for it, at this stage, sometimes you clear it, wet sand it, and then do all your final highlights on top of clear. That way you can really experiment or make things even brighter, because nothing is going to intermix with what's underneath it. So that is a time to also do that. But now I can push the dark as much as I want. Under here like this, I want this bottom jaw almost more in silhouette. I can darken it out. I want this hair really start coming down like this and getting the mane really worked in. And just tone. And really just start pushing things where you want them. Stray hairs. If you're really good with a brush, this is a great time to start doing, some brush work. Right now I'm using one of the Microns. This is the Micron CM. You can easily get away with an Eclipse here at this stage as well. But so notice right here, I had that kind of hard edge, and there's another bulk of hair. Look, so this is where you can start bringing those in. And I can bring it dark and soften that up. More hair here. Really play around with it. Because it's really dark here, but you still have some stuff going on. See what I mean? You can really start adding those little hairs. And then as it gets closer to the main, blend that out so it almost goes into total darkness. Now it looks like that hair is really backlit well. Start playing with that direction. I'm going to strengthen this stuff back up, and then we'll go in with some little purple accent, I think, which may ruin it. Probably not. Okay, so I went back to a stronger black so I can really get these in like one pass, especially here. See how that stronger black, now that brighter, now they look more backlit, so I can put a hair right across that and have it come out from here and go into complete darkness. I'm going to bring another one right around. This is just because the paint's mixed a little bit more opaque, moving a little faster, really getting the hair worked out. I got what you're saying. And we can go back to total black over here. Lots of little hairs just kind of showing through at this point. I don't want to see any like bulky, sharp edges here. I want it to be a little soft. There's the ear. And just keep working it. Okay, all right, let's see. Good night, Sharp. Alright, let's try to cap this off with a little slight, and I mean slight, purplish glow. So I'm going to take this white very carefully and not F this up. I'm going to thin it down. If I don't like it, I can always put other stuff right here. Okay, so I'm going to put just a little here. Tiny bit. And like I said, I don't know if I'm going to like this, but in my head I did. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of fantasy light coming from this side that's going to have a little purple cast on them. Really just going on a limb and see if this works. That's that. Let's clean this orange out. You have that white shooting. Yeah, it's shooting all right. Okay, so I got candy deep purple here. Right. This might be too deep. We're just going to hit it really light. I'm going to hit that purple. Yeah, it's alright. I think I'm going to red over it a little bit more. I think I needed a brighter white, but it's there. It's there, but not exactly what I want. Which is fine, because that can just set up and carve that a little bit more with the black. It didn't do much for it, so I'm not going to push it. I'm going to tone it back with the black, and it's just going to be a slight undertone. I think what I would do at this point, I'd probably mix up a more purple white, make it bigger, and I mixed up the deep purple. I think it's too dark from the candy for this. The candy purple needs a brighter, and I'm not really prepared to do too much more with that. So we're not gonna push it. We'll save that for another painting or revisit. But I do feel like I lost a little bit of the nose over here. So I think what I'm going to do is try to take this again, here like here. And just get that a little brighter. Yeah, it's working, just it wasn't what I envisioned. I wanted a bigger, if you look at the concept, it's got a more of a purple glow on that side, so I think I needed, I need more white. I need to brighten up and then carve it. So what I should have done, made it much brighter, put the purple in, got to a tone I liked before I started doing all this black detail, is what the order of operation I should have done. But because I do these live, and I didn't paint this twice before I went live, you get to see how I really work it out. Okay, let that dry for a sec. I am going to go back in and put some pure red highlights in some places. And then we're going to wrap this thing up. Tack it off. Don't like right there. Gone. And now, wax and grease, which now you can kind of see a little bit better what it's going to look like with that pop. You can really see that eye glow, and that's what's going to work. Good there. Get this yellow out of here because we don't need to go back to the yellow, I don't think. Looks like his forehead, but it should be darker. Here, nah, I like this fire coming off this pop. It could go darker, but then I'd lose that chisel to the ear, I think. It could maybe be a little redder. Now we're just going to take some, we'll add some freehand fire out here. Maybe we'll put a few. In here, I can see them, you can't. red there. And realistically, you could play with the fire a lot more. And add a little bit coming up from here. Just to give a little bit. Coming from the background, so it's not all black over here. Just some more. Yeah, and just kind of, it looks a little bit like that. And when you clear it, it's going to have a really, really bright pop. Look at that. I could maybe do a little bit darker up in here, but you can, that's where you can really see the different color. Whoop, there's the camera's lights. And right now, I think, unless I missed it, the highest bid is for Rick Lever at $325. Rick, we'll look at what shipping is going to be. You're probably going to be looking $40 to $50 in shipping to Canada, I would think. I don't know what the customs deal is going to be. So just let me know if you're fine with that. And if not, it could go back to honey. Yeah, so I think, unless I missed it, that's where we're at. If there's any other bids, we can go from there. Yeah, I think at this stage, I like it. I could spend another hour here making eyes brighter, a little bit more glow, a little fire glow. But for a learning exercise, you get somewhere in this realm, you're doing really, really good. From here on out, it's nuance. All the core is here. All your brights are here. Customer will be happy. You know, what I would probably do if this was a customer job where I was getting paid like a full rate for this is I'd do another hour or two making it more detailed. Making it more detailed, bringing out certain aspects of it. Then I would clear it and look at it cleared. And then I would, because I always clear things twice when it goes to a final job. So I would clear it, then I would probably go in for some extra little highlights and details, maybe brighten up some sections and just kind of adjust and tweak things, and then go for final clear, is what would happen on a normal job. But for a lesson, this is really good. I think I could bring out some more hair here, make it a little brighter. Maybe, you know, even brushwork. And if I do brushwork, I always clear it first before I go on brushwork, because I'm not a big brush guy. So for confidence, I would go in and brushwork and then airbrush tone and brushwork after I clear it. And just see if I like it, especially for the fine little hairs and stuff like that. But for 3.5 hours of painting, or 3 hours of painting roughly is what we did on, this is a great stage. So if this was a hood of a car and I was doing a full mural at full rate, I would probably spend a day, 8 to 12 hour day on this, maybe 2 days, and go anywhere from, you know, 18 to 24 hours worth of work and make it super, super detailed and hair by hair. But I would clear somewhere in between. It's kind of how I would approach a job like this. You would want to watch it. It's very nuanced. It's very boring. It's just very little. It's a lot of back and forth till you get it right. But yeah, if that's the case, we will leave it there. Rick is a high bid at $325. I always give the other bidder the last chance if Honey wants to get in. Yeah, I think we're doing, this is a good way to start the year of the Fire Horse 2026. First project, 2 feeds, 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I think it was pretty good. I didn't record the first half of this, but I have the YouTube video. I don't have all the cameras because I missed it. But but we're good. We're good. So yeah, give me some ideas, guys. I want to thank all my members, subscribers who stuck with me through the couple years, and new ones who just signed up. Don't forget to go to McKay Fine Art and Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks, same channel. Get you discounted downloads, vectors, and things like that. And send me your ideas. Post some ideas. Get onto my socials. Where are my socials? For anyone new, these are all my socials. Pop in, give me some ideas. Let me know what you think. And for those in the UK area, Germany, we're going to be there in May. I don't know what the class load is on that right now, if is how much is signed up or left, but that's going to be in May. And then if you're into tabletop mini gaming, we have Adepticon coming up, and we have a few spots left in that, me and Joe's class, and I got that on my socials, links on that. Bravo Brushworks, thank you, man. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the first feed of the season. Rick, give me a message later on, and we'll start getting this squared away. And I'll get it cleared next week at some point, and we'll let it cure before we ship it up, and go from there. So we'll get everything worked out. All right. Talk to you later, man. Skullified Ninja. Huh. That's an interesting one. That could work. I know I want to do a Spartan skull at some point too. That's been on the list, or it's like a Shogun, Japanese, Shogun warrior skull. There's a couple ideas from there too. Yeah, I got some other stuff to do too. I got that mini hood. I got a bigger one now, so I might do something more there, a little tape and graphics, and yeah, I might even revisit some old stuff. So, thanks everyone checking it out. Have an awesome Thursday night. Have an awesome weekend. I'll see you next week, Thursday night. Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Peace. You can just call cowbell. Awesome. And on that note.